obviously that's working. I'm just gonna stop running the stream at the same time and hopefully that'll work. So guys, here we are. Hey, Sean. This is a commentary, but it's also going to be a test run because I have decided to start playing with OBS. Like I probably should have been done to begin with. Um, OBS is a video software that makes me be able to do stuff like that and that. And I'm still just learning, but also it's going to help me do some Let's Plays. Like I'm going to do probably next week or maybe sometime this week, just depends on how much time I have, a playthrough of an old freeware unlicensed Babylon 5 flight simulator called I Found Her, which I am looking forward to playing. I've never played it before, and so I needed some kind of new rig to let you all see that. And in doing so, I'm going to try to do this commentary with the video playing up here. I've copied some trickery from my friends over at Babylon 5 for the first time, and we will see if the YouTube gods decide to hate me or not with this. We will find out momentarily. So, if I get booted from YouTube for doing this, well, then um, we'll just do it without the video from now on. But I'd like to be able to show you what we're actually watching as we watch it. So give me a moment as I do some quick announcements on Twitter to see if anyone else wants to join us. And then we will get rolling. Okay. Nice. Yeah, Murphy. I agree. Nice channel while it lasted. Worst case scenario, they'll just kill the stream and I will get 1x and I will be okay because 1x is not going to kill me, but it's worth a try. Oh, Jacob, well, I can see you texting, so not sure. Anyone else hearing doubling now? I think I fixed the doubling. So do you only hear my voice once? And I'll wait a few seconds while you all get this so you can tell me. And then we'll get rolling. So if you can hear my voice over my voice, tell me in the chat. Hey, Jacob, good. Connected again. Excellent. I also got some new lovely additions to my collection today. I got a shipment from eBay. So I've got most of them now. I think I've got most of them. There's a couple of alternate ones and the aliens that are not the main aliens. And I also need Garibaldi when he's bald. I need Garibaldi when he's bald. And there's also a certain captain I need to get as well, too. The aliens are the ones who are hard to find because they came out in Wave 2 and they're harder to get. The hardest one to get is the Shadow. And unless somebody wants to donate $200 to my collection, I won't be getting the Shadow anytime soon. But we're getting close. Hey, I'm single again, Sean. That's great. Don't tell my wife. Awesome. David, unfortunately, I do hear you. I mean, is that mean like just once you hear me, unfortunately? Okay. I'm seeing a couple finds here, so we're good. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This is a spoiler commentary. If you have not watched A Race Through Dark Spaces, or Places, you should have. And we're going to actually be recording our episode about A Race Through Dark Places tomorrow night. So I'm going to watch the episode now in preparation for that and do a commentary as I go. This, again, will be a spoiler commentary. And so what you should be doing now if you want to watch along, hopefully this little video up here will work. If not, you can pull up your DVDs or your VHS or your Vudu, Amazon. If you are a UKer, I hear it's on Freevee for free, but unfortunately it's not on HBO Max anymore. Oh, and here comes somebody. I'm recording, buddy. Come say hi.
Hi.
There's Clark. Can I do my thing? Dad life.
My scooter down. I said, he's not gonna need it.
Okay, good. That's a good brother. Go on. Close the door. He gave up his scooter to his sister. Job well done. Okay, so as I was saying, we are queued up at 0 seconds. I'm going to hit play, and we'll see what happens. Again, for those who just joined, um, I may drop off if YouTube does not like me playing this video. But I've done some trickery, and I will say it's still free use. YouTube should not boot me off because free use allows for augmentation of an original work in order to add to the work, and I think a commentary track is probably adding to the work. But we'll see what happens. Here we go. So on the count of three, I'm going to hit play, and we're going to go. 1, 2, 3. I call this as the rent is too damn high episode. I like the no collar dress shirts under the uniforms. They don't show those much. And if you've seen our new, I'm yelling at my son who's snapping. If you look at our new art design we put out by Sock and Key, I decided to have my uniform unbuttoned for that very reason. See, Sheridan's upset, man. He's been stuck on a ship for so long. Captain's quarters suck on a ship. Man, he just got his water shower. He's excited, and they're making him pay rent. Yeah, I agree, Tim. I truly think this is where season two starts to shift. It's a little slow going season two up until this point. Some will say it's the Coming of Shadows where it really shifts, but I think this is an episode that gives us a lot of building of the world. It's got a great guest character with Bester, and also I think this subplot B is kind of fun. It also gives Claudia something to do. We also know what date it is now. So March 14th. The newbies love when we get dates. They love to know where we are. And there's our friend, Mr. Bester. By the way, that's Walter Koenig's wife. Walter Koenig is a national treasure. That's true, Murphy. No one says it's after that because Coming in Shadows definitely kicks it into gear for sure. Yeah, Tim, I agree. I think we're off to the races at this point. There's going to be a couple clunkers, but not many. The Underground Railroad. This is another one where when you do a rewatch, you realize they kind of hinted at this a couple times, especially when we see our friend, the other telepath, who, by the way, is higher than a P10. And we'll see him again, obviously, in season 5. But um, there's a reason why Franklin started his clinic down below. For one, he's wanting to help people. But two, it's a front for the Underground Railroad. Suck it out of them. Hmm. Walter Koenig is just amazing in this role. Yeah, we're definitely getting close to David to where JMS just takes over all the writing, except for that one episode. Jacob, yeah, TKO is one of the worst in my opinion. It's not the worst. We haven't gotten to the worst episode yet. The worst episode hasn't come yet. So, question for you all as we're watching the opening here. What's your favorite opening theme? Not narration, not the credit sequence, the music. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5. Let me know. Jessi really freaked out, by the way, when she was told the Great War is coming upon us all. Didn't tell her what war was coming, but she didn't really like the quote unquote spoilers. I think it's just foreshadowing and it's what books do all the time, but she did not like it. Tim, I think our two big Bester fans are Nicole and Justin, which are also our two big conspiracy theorists. Take that as you will. Jacob says season three. David says third or fourth. I like fourth myself. The March. I love it. All the themes are good, but I think the fourth is good. I also like fifth. Fifth season is good as well too. Yeah, Jacob says season three because it's more serious than the first two. Yeah, I can see that. Here we are at Earhart. This is the best of the original uniforms too. Got they just added the red piping, which I like. And I've been told I'm not a fashion person or I am a fashion person depending on who you ask. But I like these uniforms. Steve says fourth season. Good choice. This is also, I think, one of the first times where Bruce Boxleitner gets to just have fun in the role. He's just chewing up the scenery in this. Biggs is just like, just play along. It's awkward that we talk about that spare cot in Franklin's quarters. Awkward. Did you figure out the hair? Jacob. We haven't got any of the newbies who are really, really liking Sheridan yet. I think they got sold on Sinclair more than I expected them to, but it's worked out pretty well. I think they're going to get to like Sheridan, obviously, but it's been interesting how hard the transition's been. I didn't expect that. Bruce Boxleitner is dreamy, though. Sean, that's a really good point. Imagine Babylon 5 without the work that Frank has done, or Frankie. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but so I mean, look at the Gathering, the first version of the Gathering with that techno synth pop soundtrack, or look at Crusade with its again techno music. I mean, Babylon 5 would not be the same without the music that we have here. We got some like shaky cam going here. That doesn't happen often on B5. I didn't realize that until just now, but they're definitely using a hand cam here. I don't know why. Trying to be more intimate with the first conversation. Yeah, that was weird. I never noticed that before. Yeah, Tim, I think especially when JMS takes over Franklin gets more to do, and I think he has just really not gotten much to do yet in this show. And what he's gotten to do, especially with our 2023 lenses looking backwards, is a little rough. This is the first time we haven't had an entrance for Buster. He just kind of like shows up. Hi, how you doing? Catherine, in terms of this show, my crush was Mira. I mean, a lot of people like Claudia, and I do too. Don't get me wrong, but Mira was my crush. One of the things that people sometimes don't notice about Walter Koenig's performance is he decided the first time he showed up that he was going to play Bester with a quote unquote disability, and that is his left hand is clenched, and it is clenched every time we see him throughout the entire show. It's never discussed. It is in the books, but it's never discussed on camera. You just, if you watch his fist, it's always clenched. Tim, I can see that. Jerry Doyle has got some looks. I now the question is, do you like Jerry Doyle hair or hairless? And he's also got that time where he's like mid range. Ironhide became. Dun dun dun. Look how Talia's playing this. I mean, not Talia, but the actor. Look how she's playing this. There's so many levels here that you could read into. She's obviously, yeah, David. Yep. Psychop number two on Mars was Walter's wife. Yeah, Tim. He's the everyman. He's one of my favorite characters. It's the same reason why Miles O'Brien is my favorite character in D Space Nine. I love the everyman character, the one who you know usually has to suffer. There's our friend from Chrysalis. Didn't think he would be coming back, did we? I love how somebody has to die in every episode. We have to kill them. And if you listen to the trailers, which I've been putting on the tag for our main episodes, the trailers are so intense. Somebody will die. Fate of the galaxy. And really, it's not usually. Now, this is why Mira is my crush. That dress. Damn. Jacob, I don't know. It's a good question. I doubt that it was planned in terms of like he's going to have a much more pivotal role in season five. But I think it was one of those. Hey, we've seen this guy before. We can use him. But knowing JMS, I wouldn't be surprised. Sean says Pat Tallman was his crush. I can see that too. Sean, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I have several I'm working on. The greatest thing about doing the interviews with folks is when they finally say yes. I mean, no one's like, I haven't drug anyone kicking and screaming yet, but it's just amazing when they say, yeah, sure, what the hell. The first one was Marshall Teague. He was just like, yeah, I'd love to talk about B5. And finally, when Claudia and Peter both said, yeah, that's when we knew we had something going. That was awesome. And I hope you all got to see the Peter interview. It was real fun. It was also fun to edit too. John, I haven't read her book yet. I need to. I just finished Claudia's, which, boy, it's a good read, but it is traumatic. She went through a lot. She came out the other side great, but she went through a lot. It's like the Top Gun bar and Top Gun Maverick. Catherine, maybe, maybe. David, I'm working some angles on a whole bunch of people. I don't want to start throwing out names because then if it doesn't happen, I've jinxed it, and if it does happen, then I've given away surprises. But we are working on quite a few different folks. I actually have already interviewed, and I haven't dropped it yet just because I honestly just haven't had time to put it all together yet. We did interview a crew member too from seasons 4 and season 5. So we're not just looking at cast members, we're looking at folks who had connection with the show. Gonks. Question of the day. Did Ivanova help her with that hair? Or has she gone that far where she can do it herself? Did she give Ivanova a call before the date? David, that was great. The script that has Jakar switching genders, as Peter talked about. I will tell you that the script is out there, and am getting my hands on it, and I have ideas, and we'll leave it at that. Again, surprises are fun. Hey, well, Cal, thanks so much. It was really fun to do the Peter interview. That was great. We were actually working on that for quite some time. He was going to do it with us late 2022, but he lives in Florida, and the hurricane hit. And didn't really, I mean, he's okay, and his family's okay, and his house is okay, but he had to do a lot of cleanup. So we had to wait until after the new year. And but he's great. I mean, um, he is as genuine. She's doing really good in this episode. I usually don't give her much credit because she doesn't get that much to do, but she's got a lot to chew on in this episode. But yeah, so as I was gonna say, everything you saw in the Peter interview, just how much of a kind, nice person is, he is that in real life. He was not putting on a show. He is one of the kindest human beings I have ever had the opportunity to meet. And I gotta tell you, if you went back and told 10-year-old Scott that you're going to be able to 30 years later talk to one of your heroes and he's going to be amazing, that's I would be I would not believe you, but it's exactly how it went, and he is an amazing person. He's becoming the McCann. Sean, you'll have to send me that. Are you talking about? There's so many B5 podcasts. You'd have to tell me which one it was. Jacob, I got an idea of who I would cast for Londo, but you're right. John would be a good one. See, it's stuff doesn't get left behind. Ooh, she's getting better at it too. Who would have thought? who would have thought that a little thing in a sci-fi show a year ago would come back? This is how JMS plays this game, and we're starting to see that more in season two. That everything you see plays down the road. He doesn't forget stuff. Some stuff may have to change due to actors leaving or whatever, but he tries his best to make it work. Yep, locked out. Yeah, well, it's interesting how much these guys are still friends. Um, and I'm going to be talking actually probably tonight if I can get it all figured out. I'm going to be talking about the two Babylon 5 projects that are potentially upcoming. One is absolutely upcoming, and one is the reboot. So uh, these guys have worked together more recently than you even think. David, I feel all about the Famous Interruptus, as you saw from my son Clark running in here telling me about his scooter. Excuse me. Yeah, Tim, Andrea Thompson has had like the most interesting career. She was on CNN. She has done weather on local stations, and now I believe, and tell me if I'm wrong, she's in real estate. Another one who's had an interesting career is the gentleman who played Morden, who now owns a construction business. Yeah, well, the difference is the reason why I'm going to do a conversation on the B5 reboot is there's a lot of rumor floating around right now, and I'm not a big fan of rumor and hearsay and conjecture. I will tell you what I think's going to happen, but I'm not going to be like, this is what's going to happen. This is what's happened because HBO Max and blah, 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 blah. I'm not that guy. So what my intention is, and I'll probably do it tonight if I can get it all together, is I'm just going to go through what JMS has said and what others have said and throw it up on the screen and say, here is actually what we know. You can take with it what you want, but this is what we know. And I think that that'll be helpful to just get it all out there. Because some people are, they're seeing one source and then they're making assumptions, and then that leads to other things. And it's not their fault. It's just that not many people are putting out all the information that we have. And so I'm going to try to do a deep dive as much as I can. I'll probably miss stuff too. I'm not perfect, but I think it'll be helpful to have that. They're really good at their job, aren't they? You can't scan us if we can't see us, and then he scans you immediately. Oopsie. Yeah, Tim. I posted this on our Twitter a while back. Faith manages, and we as Babylon 5 fans know exactly what that means. So I think we're going to see it. Now, will it be on TV? I hope so. Or streaming. I hope so. I absolutely hope so. I think I want JMS to get his shot at doing whatever he wants to do to show us. But at the end of the day, he will get it out. Even if it's like a graphic novel or something, we will get to see his ideas because he likes to share his plans with folks. He's been that way since before Babylon 5. He's been very open. Part of it is he used to be a journalist for a long time, and I don't want to assume things or put things in his words in his mouth, but I bet you part of his need to share is his journalistic um, ethics. Not ethics, but you know what I mean. His journalistic need to to let people know what's going on, to be transparent. Jacob, I'm also a patron, and so we know a little bit more than others, and I'm not gonna share what's on the patron account because that's between JMS and those who support him, and I don't want to give anything away. Although he's basically told people in public everything he's told us, except there's a couple little things that he hasn't. But I'll keep those internal to the Patreon. Uh, but he's done a lot of public stuff that we can talk about for sure. I don't know, man. I don't know. If Ed Wasser comes up to me and says, "What do you want?" I think I'm gonna. Although I still say that if you want anyone to reprise Twilight Zone and pretend to be Rod Serling, Ed Wasser's your guy. My goodness, he is the spitting image of Rod Serling. Which, by the way, my Twilight Zone podcast is going to be coming back soon. Zonesodes. It's been defunct for a while because I've been working on this, but we're going to get it going again. I love the Twilight Zone. Yeah, Tim, I completely agree. He was ahead of his time, but right where he needed to be, and being able to utilize the technology like no one else did or wanted to or could at the time, and he's still doing it to this day. 30 years later, now he's running Twitter, and we saw that one day with the B5 on CW in 23 that he still knows what he's doing. I'm not sure about that, David. We were talking about this in the most recent episodes, and we'll talk about this again in Soulmates, which gets dropped on Wednesday. And that indoctrination is rough. I mean, of course, again, spoilers, but she also has control in her head. But I don't even think the control has to do much here because the indoctrination is so deep in anyone who's in the Psy Corps. Yeah, Kefir's an interesting story. JMS was not a fan. It came from studio notes, and about this time in the show run, which we're watching right now, the show notes started to go away. And by the end of the season, he was able to do his own thing, and so Kefir had to go away. But I never had a problem with Kefir. He's not there much. He's not really annoying. He does have some plot armor until he doesn't. But I think a lot of the hate for Kefir is kind of meta because we know why we should hate him, and so we do. But I never had a problem with him. Even when I watching this when I was a kid, I mean, I always thought it was kind of cool to have a fighter jock, you know. Now we know Cyclops are P10s, so P11 is as high as you can go before they turn you into Cyclop. Um, I'm just going. I'm just going to assume that that's an error. Now look at the guy behind her. Now what we know down the road is he's much higher than a P10 or a P11. much higher. There's conjecture online that he is, aside from I guess Ironheart, he is the highest psi level that we see in this show because he can control minds of psychops, as we'll see. So he's putting his head down like, eh. Texas, you're right. You're completely right. JMS did the best he could with something he didn't want to do, and that shows he understood that if he wanted to make this thing work, he's going to have to make some compromises. Tim, I don't think he did. There's some talks online that JMS puts out there about Andrea Thompson, Talia, and how there were no guaranteed episodes, except for I think Bruce Boxleitner and Claudia Christian. There were no guaranteed episode numbers. So most of the cast were contracted for 13 episodes at this point, including Peter Jurasik and Andreas Consolis. So most of them were contracted for 13 episodes. Didn't mean they were going to get 13 episodes, but they got paid for 13 episodes regardless. So Andrea Thompson was upset that she wasn't getting enough um, time on the show, and she only got 8 episodes in season 2, but she got paid for 13. I wonder on the Kefir situation if the actor, I don't think he probably knew that he was not long for this world, but I'm gonna guess since he's in the opening credits, he got contracted for 13 episodes, and so whether he's in 13 episodes or not, he got paid for it. Ben, that's yeah, it's crazy and sad. You look at TNG, which actually came out years, the Next Generation, which came out years before Babylon 5, and we have the entire cast. They're going to be in Picard season 3 here in 2 weeks, which as much as Picard has not been my cup of tea, haha, pun intended. I'm looking forward to season 3. But then we have B5, and we've lost so many. It's really sad. It is. Um, Obviously, the most recent one we lost was Mira Furlong, but Jerry Doyle, Andreas Katsoulis, Richard Beggs, Michael O'Hare, so many. It's sad. Yeah, Tim, I think that was not written right. I think she should have been she should have that character should have said I was a P9, the highest before they make you into a psychop. Yeah, Bester's a P12. This is where Franklin starts to get something to do. And I think I'm looking forward to what the newbies have to say about this. Like I said, we're going to record our episode for this tomorrow night. And I'm looking forward to what the newbies have to say about Franklin here. Because they have dogged on Franklin a lot, and for good reason in some cases. But now we get to something new. Yeah, poor Keffer. He's not in much. Hey Ben, thanks so much for that. I mean, it was a treat. We had so much fun. And I think you probably saw that in the interview if you watched the YouTube version. We were just so happy to have a time with him, and he was just amazing. And he was so giving too. Um, One of the things, I'm a recovering politician, so I've done quite a few interviews in my day. And one of the things I make sure when I do an interview with a person is I ask up front, is there anything that's off limits? Or is there anything that you definitely want to hit on? And Peter's response was, no, we're good. Let's just talk. It was amazing. He was open. He really enjoyed having conversations that he did, and I think he had a good time. From what I've chatted with him a little bit after, and he had a good time. So it was great. And hopefully we'll get him back. I don't want to make any promises, and I also don't want to assume, but I hope we get him back, especially when the newbies get deeper into the series, so they can so they can talk to him about some of the stuff they're going to see. This is huge, guys. Bester is fallible, and this is really foreshadowing for season 5, like it or not. Now, of course, with season 5 originally, um, the plan was that what was Lita's role was going to be Ivanova. Ivanova was going to get in with the Byron cult or whatever you want to call them and do all this. That's going to come up in season 5. So it'd been interesting to see how that would have played out. I know not many people are fans of season 5. I'm not a big fan of season 5, but it's interesting. Somebody is holding back. Dun dun dun. See, this is where I wish I could watch the episodes with the newbies because I'd love to see their reaction when this happens. But of course, we tried that with TKO. It didn't work out very well. David, he was. He's just an amazing person in general. He's just I can't stress enough that what you saw in the interview is what he is in real life. He is just a kind, gentle human being. Ben, make sure you hit that notify button. I'm going to be doing these more often. I really want to do commentary for every episode. I've slacked off a lot, but I'm going to be doing it more often. And hopefully this works and YouTube doesn't yell at me later. But so far so good. Yeah, Tim, I agree. I think that'd be interesting. Ivanova finally realizes that the two people she's truly loved, she's lost, and she's lost before she's been able to give that love in return with Talia and then with Marcus. So imagine the trauma that she's going through and the feelings that she has, and then she runs into Byron and how I don't want to say he can manipulate that, but how he can be something for her that she needs right at that moment. It'd be interesting. Well, David, there was a couple different plans too. We've already recorded a bonus episode that we'll be putting out as soon as I can edit it about what the original 10-year Babylon 5 plan was, and it's very different than what we got. But yeah, I mean, also JMS had to deal with the fact that he thought for sure season 4 was going to be it. PTN was shutting down. There was no guarantee for season 5 at all, and TNT didn't come in until late. So I don't blame him for constricting season 4 as much as he did. But of course, that means he had to give stories that were not meant to be a full season. I call BS. Yeah, Tim, there's definitely highlights. There's definitely highlights in season 5. And of course, those last few episodes, when we get to those episodes, I'm going to be freaking hurt, as I always am. I always cry. No, I know, but I always cry when I watch Sleeping in Light. Always. I also cry when I watch What We Leave Behind, because I'm a Deep Space Nine fan as well too. But that's for another day. Deep Space Nine's right up there. Tarek Noor, right up there. Since I'm pointing at stuff, by the way, I'm gonna be start working on this guy soon. So do I. So do I, Bruce. So do I. Yeah, David. The outline is very different. We're gonna go into a lot of detail on that. So how much of this is Control talking in the background? Because we will hear from Control when she talks to some folks before she goes that she's been quietly in the background telling Talia what to say. Part of that for me, I still think is just Control trying to twist the knife a little bit before she leaves, and that's not really true, but it's interesting to think about because Control is subconsciously in there right now. This is one of the more solid episodes that we've seen so far. The subplot, the B plot and the A plot, both are quality. Get some good comedy in there. Get some good world building. A little bit of action. Sheridan found the compromise. I feel him. My staff knows not to talk to me until about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. I need to be able to wake up before I can fight my battles. Yeah, interludes and examinations a rough one. That's for sure. This is interesting. Sheridan is almost as much as Talia is playing both sides right now. We just don't know it. Sheridan's playing both sides too. He's put there because the higher ups knew, and we'll see this later. The higher ups knew that he would follow his oath rather than whoever is just in power during the day of the week. But President Clark sees him as a war hero, the anti Sinclair, somebody who will follow orders and get the job done. So he's in a nice little place there where he can play both sides. And Bester's realizing that maybe he's not on our side like we thought he was. Every time Ivanova talks to God, it's just fun. So this is interesting for us. Now, the newbies always kind of got a hint between Talia and Ivanova that something was going on. Gloves come off. But when we were doing our interview with Claudia, she kind of spoiled it and said that her character was bi. So, not that the newbies didn't already assume, but now they just know it's coming. So, they're going to have a field day with this scene right here. They're going to have a field day. Yeah. Tim, I think Control did not want to eliminate Talia. The way I read it and heard it is Control notified them that there is a problem. And then 13, Bureau 13, decided that Control is expendable. And so if Control is becoming a problem, Talia is becoming a problem, then we can go ahead and eliminate Control. We have other ways of figuring out what we want to figure out. And I think that's what was happening there. I don't think Control actually said you didn't kill me. I think Control was just saying, hey, heads up, and then they made the decision that Control was expendable. And so ends A Race Through Dark Places. Thanks everyone for joining me. I'll stick around for just a few more minutes here. Hopefully this worked really well for you guys. I'm looking forward to doing more of these. I'm going to try to do them as we come up, and I'm also going to do some back ones too. And then we'll also have some of the other first ones on here as well too to chat. We'll have some of the other first ones on here to chat as well too on some of these. And so you can find all the commentaries we've already done. There's a playlist for those as well too. And then tonight, if I can get it all put together, I'll be on live again talking about B5A and B5B. And if you are a Patreon of JMS, you know what I mean by B5A and B5B. Let's see, we got some more stuff in the chat real quick. Sean says, I don't think JMS has Talia's control at this point, but force it to fit. No, Sean, control was always a part of the plan. Now, was it always Talia? No. Uh, it was actually Takashima. Takashima was supposed to be control. And of course, when the actress for Takashima left, then that changed to Talia. But it was known, especially here, because production order wise, we're deep into production of season 2, and we're getting close to when control is going to be announced and shown, that JMS knows what's going on at this point. Now, um, does he have every single thing mapped out? Probably not, but he knows that she's control at this point. Catherine says, I wonder how the newbies are going to think of Sheridan about playing both sides in detail. I don't know. It's interesting. I was actually surprised in our latest episode that just was dropped that Nicole was more into the conspiracies than Justin was. Justin's usually my conspiracy theorist, but he wasn't. He was excited about Bureau 13, which is funny because it's never going to come back, but he was not as into everything like Nicole was. So it'll be interesting to see how that works, especially when Sheridan reveals himself to the crew down the road. Wilkins says General Haig was way better at evaluating Sheridan's character than power-hungry one like Clark. I think so. Well, also, too, you got to realize, too, that Haig is much more connected to Sheridan than Clark ever was. Clark is at an elevated level, and he's just looking at the field and saying, okay, my generals are telling me he's right. He's the right guy for the job. It will put somebody in there who I think is more interested in supporting my goals as president, because remember, Sheridan's the only guy to take out a Minbari warship. So you would think that Clark, anti-alien, is going to be fine with a guy who's the one who only scored a direct hit in the Minbari War. So Sheridan is the perfect choice for Clark, which is why he's the perfect choice for the other side. Texas, that's a good idea. We can. I'm thinking that's something we can try to play with. Some top 10 lists and stuff. I'm all about the content right now. As you can see, we're really trying to build our YouTube presence. We added a lot of subscribers with the Peter interview, but we really want to build that. And by the way, if you haven't seen it yet, Blake just dropped his first Cooking with Blake show, and he makes banyakata, and it's not the last one. I promise. We're working with Blake, and we may have the B5 cookbook. So check that one out too. We're definitely going to be doing some more content. I also know that Justin and John recorded some content that I'm not going to get into because it's their stuff, so they can tell you all about it. But you're going to get to see more of us. We're always going to do the episodes that we've done them, where it's going to be audio format and it's going to be on YouTube in audio format. But we're also going to do some side content. Another thing I'm working on is I really am a movie buff, and I'd like to share some of the movies that I love with folks. So I think I'm going to start doing that too. So more content to come, which is what I'm getting at is, if you're watching this, hit subscribe and hit notify so you can be notified as soon as we go live and as soon as we post new videos, because more is coming. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end it there, guys, because I got to prep for another live that I'm going to hopefully do tonight. So thanks so much for joining me. And for those who are watching this after the fact, again, be sure to subscribe and click the links down below. We also have an audio version of our podcast at the links below as well, too. And we will be back shortly with our episode where we discuss A Race Through Dark Places with both our newbies and our first ones as well, too. Thanks, everyone, for joining me on this little test of our new equipment. I think it went pretty well, and we'll see if YouTube liked it later. And I'll be back here again to do more of these commentaries. And it's really fun to have you all in the chat when we're doing this too. It's great to watch these with you guys. So thanks so much. I'm going to go ahead and end it there, and have a good one.